show. Do us a favor, guys. Let us know if you can hear us and see us okay. We're working off different technology now. We had a little bit of an issue earlier, and I have spent the entire day trying to repair it while Molina Mike has been hitting pool balls and talking to guests, talking to people walking by the booth.
I got to call you back, Franco. I'm live right now. But we appreciate you being a sponsor, buddy.
Look at this
I'll
guy.
let you later.
Look at this guy.
It's Franco, man. He's one of our sponsors. You got to show him some love, too.
So do me a favor, Mikey. Check and make sure. Look online. Make sure we're on there. Make sure everything's going good.
Okay.
I think we're good. Guys, let us know if you can hear us and see us. We just want to make sure you guys are...
Yeah, we're good. Let's go.
We're good? We're good. We're in. Okay. So, Mike, we got an interesting show. We're going to talk about kind of a preview to the Final 64, the ALFA Las Vegas Open. Pretty excited about it. It's getting down. I said earlier, I think I offended some people. I said got rid of the riffraff, and we're down to the actual players now. It's no offense. I mean, Sky Wilbur was one of the first ones knocked out. Obviously,
I told him too. I told him what you called him.
Come on now,
riffraff.
How are you gonna do that to me?
Yeah, we're gonna make a flyer.
Yeah. Hey, we're not getting any chat yet. I want to make sure people can hear and see. Okay. Oh, here we go. What's up? Okay, guys. Thanks, Stephanie, Benjamin, Cornholio, Rick Glasscock. Guys, before we get started, we want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. You see them on the screen. They really help us get here, help us come to these events and do this and take time away from our families and stuff, and we couldn't do it without them. So just want to give a big shout out. You see them around the edges there. Please take care of them, and they take care of us. So we really appreciate it. And talking about taking care of us, my buddy Rick, I don't know if he wants me to say this or not, but I'm going to just say this. Rick Glasscock supports the show and walks in here yesterday with a big box and he's like, I got a present for you. And I'm like, what in the world? Open up the box. It's a brand new JB case. And I'm like, Rick, why are you giving this to me? This is awesome, but why are you giving this to me? And he says, well, go ahead and razz it, sell it, and use the money to support the podcast. And I mean, it's just that kind of love that we really appreciate. And I told you about that, Molina. What'd you say?
That's pretty solid, man. I was blown away. Out of the blue, throwing us a JB case. And John's actually one of our sponsors as well for the first time on the show. Makes a great product. I was shocked, to be honest with you. But it just goes to show the quality of the people that we got behind us. And we appreciate them. And Rick's just something else, man. So.
Yeah, let's see if I made a little screen with the chat. Oh, yeah, there it is. What do you think of that, Mike? You guys like the new little chat window?
Joey's just got a new toy, and he just wants to play with as much as he can.
Man, I've been banging that thing out all day. You guys don't realize how hard I've been working on that.
Don't make it awkward, man. All right, let's besides the pro event that's going on here in Las Vegas, there's a ton of amateur events, over 300 tables in play, bar tables, 9-ball, 10-ball, 8-ball. I don't know what the game is going on right now, so we're going to get a little bit of a rundown from a guy who's been here a time or two. And Joe, you want to introduce him?
Yeah, sure. So, every year we come here and, CSI invites us out here and we're glad to come out here, but we tend to focus on the pro events almost exclusively when there's tons of amateur events going on here. And so this year we decided to just, grab a random amateur. I hope he doesn't find offense to being called a random
I would
random
take that
amateur. But we have with us Joe Canella. So we're going to have Joe jump in here, and let me go ahead and change the screen.
Look at that.
There.
Look at that transition, man.
Yeah, you like that?
Joe, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in pool.
Oh, wow. How I got involved in pool. I got hooked very young. My uncle was a professional street pool player, Charlie Ketchapali, out of the Midwest. And
say that
my
times.
hometown, Rockford, Illinois. Dallas West is from there also. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Yeah, I heard.
Two-time U.S. Open champion, street pool.
Heck yeah.
So watching those guys grow, I just got addicted watching them, and it's been a lifelong addiction. I love, I just love it. I have a passion for it, and watching those guys play, I thought you had. It took me a long time to realize you don't have to be perfect. I thought they were so perfect, but you realize later on the pros actually do miss a ball once in a while.
Yeah.
So you've been around the game for quite a long time. Your family and what all have you done here? I know you're a Las Vegas native, so fortunately for you, you didn't have to travel on a plane, at midnight like I did. So, what has been your role in the community, Joe, over the last however many years?
I've been playing in the pool leagues for probably close to 35, 40 years.
Wow.
And owned Pool Sharks, which is now Griff's, with my partner Lou Butera. owned that for 20 years, and supporting the local pool scene however I can, and just playing a lot. Love to play, so playing the leagues and just getting out and playing.
So Joe, I think a lot of us who've played pool have dreamt of owning our own place, right? And how we would do it if we owned our place. And, all the pool players want it to favor the pool players, but then that's not as profitable, right, as having a place that actually makes money. Tell us about that, role of owning a room and kind of the decisions you had to make there between profit and appeasing pool players who are never satisfied with anything.
First thing you have to do is be very careful what you wish for. It might happen to you one day. It happened to me. I always thought it would be such a phenomenal experience to own a pool room. And Lou and I, we talked about it. We looked around for years, and we wound up getting pool sharks. But it's definitely different. It's a lot more work than I realized. Especially in this town, it's 24/7. So so it's never closed, and you don't get too many pleasant phone calls at 2, 3 in the morning. They don't call you to tell you something good happened.
At a bar, I'd imagine not, Joe. I'd imagine not.
So, so it was very different. Lou did not enjoy the 24-hour aspect at all. He didn't like that part at all. But it's challenging. It was more work than I realized it would be. I was thinking this would be a toy and it would be fun. And it's a business, and to keep it successful, to keep it flowing good. It takes a lot of time and effort. And as far as making everybody happy, that's real hard too. It's tough to cater to the beginners and the novices that as well as the pros. And we had that scope of business while we were there. We had everybody from that whole realm, everybody. And Lou was phenomenal. I learned so much from him about running that pool hall. This was his 5th one, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And he did not. I thought some of the stuff he told me I thought he was crazy, but every single thing he told me was right. I mean, he knew that business inside and out. Great businessman.
How hard was it to go through the transition through the industry of equipment changes, felt, tables, balls, and then being able to, like you said, cater to top level players who maybe are stubborn, don't want to see change, versus amateur players who maybe don't know any better, but then also evolving and being relevant?
The amateurs is fairly easy. The better play, once people get into the mid-level and the higher levels of ability in the post, it becomes very tough because it's hard to please them. We had a mix of gold crowns and globals when we bought the place, and then the diamonds came along, and you had the people who didn't want to give up the gold crowns for the diamonds, and diamond wound up taking over a huge majority of the market, which is now.
What was that like then, Joe? Because we're kind of seeing it, we're seeing, the Predator Apex table come on the market. People have resistance to it. Was it like that when Diamond first got introduced? And
yes.
People just kind of, I don't want this, and then trying to find every which way they can to knock it?
Yeah, they didn't feel that the rails played the same as the Gold Crown. They didn't feel they banked the same, and it's true, and it's a big adjustment. So you have to. You have to decide. You gradually, first of all, it depends if you have the pockets to do an overhaul. We had, 28, 30 tables in a room, so that's a big deal to try to change out that many tables overnight.
I can imagine.
And we did it, little by little. But it's tough because you got some people that just absolutely didn't want to change. That's what they've been used to all their life,
right.
And they don't want to. They're at an age where they don't want to learn something new.
What maybe a couple crazy things that happened while you owned the room, anything like that? I think about, I've heard stories of crazy stuff happening in pool rooms.
We had a couple incidents that were out of the normal without going into the gambling history, and that would be a whole nother show.
That's why we exist.
Yes. But just a couple crazy ones. If you want to talk about some of the gambling things, we can go into that too. But like we had. We were robbed at gunpoint. I wasn't there at the time, but we were robbed at gunpoint one time. Lou was behind the bar. Three guys came in, and there was this one guy that was a customer that they knew had cash on him all the time, decent amount of cash, and they came in to get him, but they wound up holding the place up and hit a guy, pistol whipped a guy. Well, when they came in, Lou had a 22 in his pocket, and he was smart enough, because they come in with their guns drawn. He was smart enough to throw it under the bar, but it was a crazy thing. outside before they came in, they very conveniently looked straight. They were like looking straight into our cameras as they put their mask on before.
Smart guys, huh?
Yeah. So eventually they all got caught, but yeah, that was kind of a crazy thing, and we had people hiding under tables in the back of the room, and that was pretty crazy.
Terrifying.
That's a little out of the normal.
It's a night to remember, that's for sure, huh?
Tell us one of the gambling stories.
One of the gambling stories. Well,
And name names.
name names.
Joey's a sellout, in case you didn't know.
Name names. Okay, you put me on the spot here. Well, the Dippy Dave scenario with the enormous one pocket spots.
Yeah.
That started in the pit at Pool Sharks.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That started there. I don't know if it ended there, but that's where all that action that developed from that, with the pros giving up those outrageous numbers, and there's a lot of history behind that. Some of it I know, some of it I don't. So it would be bad for me to get partial story, but yeah, that all started there.
So one thing that I always wonder is when they're playing these huge sets for a lot of money, and the room knows about it, right? You kind of have to be aware of it. Do you hold the money? Do you put money in your safe? Does that ever? I mean,
Some do.
Yeah.
We didn't.
No. Okay.
Was it just not wanting the liability, or the people just wanted to?
And I don't work for the IRS, by the way.
No, I
so
understand. I'm not worried about that. I'm not in the business anymore, so I'm not worried about that. But I wouldn't worry about it anyway if I was. No, some do. Sometimes they do. A lot of times the money's not in the room.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Probably
times
better
where,
that way.
There's a lot of times when money's not there. There's been a couple scenarios locally where there's been been a heist of the stake money. It's but it's better when it's not. And then when the poker players got involved, some of it was just poker chips that changed hands. So some of that high stakes stuff, the money's not always there.
Yeah, I heard some of it was Bitcoin. Sometimes they were playing for like a Bitcoin or two, but
could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be. I wouldn't. They play for anything. Come on, you know that. You've been around.
Yeah. So Joe, you're very enthusiastic about pool. We talked about, I live in the Phoenix area, how you travel down to Phoenix each year for a memorial tournament for Doc Rice.
Yes, sir.
Or Doc.
Great guy, Dick Rice. Yes, Doc Rice. Yep.
Doc Rice, and you'd play in that tournament. So give us kind of an idea of how you play. Do you play? Are you a good player, or are you like Molina Mike?
I've never seen. Well, I did see Molina Mike hit some balls over here in the dark. He
Into
looks
the
like
rail.
he's pretty tough. I'm okay. I mean, I don't know what define good. I don't know. Pool's got a vast range of abilities. I mean, I think I'm above average.
Yeah.
I play. I'm competitive.
You wouldn't be here if you weren't, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I
love
wanted to.
play.
That's what I was setting the stage for. So there's all of these different events here that you can compete in, and I'm sure you've been coming here for years. Take folks through kind of maybe your journey coming in, competing in these tournaments, and like what that experience is like for you.
Oh God, it's been going on for a long time. I go back. I believe that the BCA tournament was pre-Riviera. I think it was at the Sahara, going back that far. I might have it confused with another tournament, but I'm pretty sure it was at the Sahara at one point. And I played back in it then. I've been playing in it ever since. I tried to play in it. It was one of the couple events when my kids were young. I didn't play as much pool and was involved in their sports and stuff. And so my two events I would play in each year were the BCA and Andy Mercer, which is a local bar tournament that's taken on a life of its own. It's a huge bar event now with most of the top pros playing it. Shane's, a lot of guys playing. A lot of the top guys playing it now.
Yeah.
And so it's grown. I mean, the amount of tables now is up 300 plus. It's it's went from the Riviera there was a long existence there. Played on different team levels there. Played in Masters. Played in Open. Played in intermediate, whatever. They used to have the pros there. They had a penthouse upstairs that they had a pro been in for a few years, and then later on they had it down next to the amateur event in the back room. They had it with upstairs viewing area, which is the best way to watch pool there is, by the way. You guys play, I'm sure you know that, but that's a phenomenal way to watch it. And God, just so many experiences, play with so many different friends, met so many great people, different countries. Exchanging shirts with a team from Portugal one year.
That's awesome.
That was a blast, just a lot of fun stuff, and
All have a love for the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny you say that because my favorite memory from here I was on a team in 2017, and we're playing a team from Canada, and this is the second round of the tournament. We end up getting third place in the tournament, but the second round of the tournament, we probably should have lost that match, and it could have changed everything for us. We're losing 12-10, and on one table, my buddy Chisholm has just the 8-ball, and his opponent has every straight ball, right? And he just keeps playing safe and making my buddy kick, but he doesn't like the layout, so he plays safe again, and so my buddy's kicking. And on the other table, a guy who hadn't missed a ball all match is dead out and shooting almost a straight-in ball on the side. So they're on 12. They need 13. It's a regular BCA match. And, we have 2 tables up right now, and there's no way we're going to win. Well, the guy shoots the ball right into the point and misses it, and at the same time, Chisholm makes a two-rail kick on the 8, and now it's 12-12. We win the match 13-12, but that team was from Canada. They were heartbroken, but we saw them later on in the tournament. They ended up starting to pull for us a little bit. So, yeah, we were making friends with people from all over the globe, and it's just a cool experience.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, like I said, we played teams from Spain, Portugal, Italy, Mexico. I'm sure I'm missing some, but Canada, obviously, they're 8-ball monsters up there. They all play good 8-ball.
Yeah. So, let's say somebody's never come to this event, never walked through the doors here, but they're an avid pool player, avid league player. Give them an idea what they should expect.
The first time they walk in, if they've never seen something like this, it'd be overwhelming to them a little bit, but it's an amazing experience, especially you got a venue here that you get to see the pros play as well as the amateurs. You can come and watch their friends. They can get involved. I just tell them, come and play. I've been telling guys that for a long time. I play in some different leagues, and some of them are handicapped, and some of the players are just up and kind of trying to get better and trying to learn. I tell them, you got to come up here and play. I go, get in the tournament, because that's where you get your experience and your seasoning, and that's what makes you better. Must see, though. Come and watch the pros for free. I mean, give me a break. This close up, it's crazy.
How cool is that?
If you're a junkie like I am, it's the best.
Are you competing in any events this year?
Yes, I'm playing in the open singles 8-ball and team 8-ball.
You gonna win them?
I'm going to try.
Well, Joe, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck out there on the tables. I think you did a great job of giving people a perspective of a league player, someone who's been in the industry for a while and had some influence. So we really appreciate you stopping by.
Well, thank you guys for having me. And before I go, can I say one more thing?
Oh, that's right.
I want to throw out a word for my son and I's distillery up in Reno, Nevada. It's called Ferino, F-E-R-I-N-O Distillery. And we just started a private barrel program up there. Go to the website and check us out.
What's the website, Joe?
FerinoDistillery.com.
Okay, nice. So if we're ever in the area, drinks on you.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, we can do that here locally. We're in several of the bars here. So our
nice,
product in several bars. We have 4 award-winning products, and
like what, Joe?
Stuff. We have a coffee liqueur that just won a double gold in a national taste contest.
Nice,
actual people tasting it, not like industry people voting. It's actually like regular people tasting it, like us. And have a cinnamon cordial, and an Amaro and a Fernet, and just did a gin. So thank you very much.
I have no idea what those are, but they sound delicious, man. They really do, Joe. Hey,
right.
We appreciate
Awesome.
you, buddy.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, Joe.
Take care.
Okay. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Uh-oh, there went Mike.
So I got to show you guys a kick shot.
Oh, okay.
Set it up, Joe.
Joe's going to set up a kick shot for us up there. So
I'm going to show you on video.
Oh, you are? Nice. So, Molina, we're going to run through the actual final 64. No, Joe. Yeah, you can show him. He's just going to queue up the final 64 there. So, what do we got going on, Molina? Where are we at?
Yeah, so the final 64 matches for the ALFA Las Vegas Open start at 7 o'clock. Some pretty good matchups, starting with Federal Gorse versus Ryan Su. And actually, Ryan, so this name in particular, on paper, you're going to say, well, who's this guy? He's from Taiwan. Maybe I don't know who he is. Well, Ryan was actually in the final 16 at the U.S. Open a couple of years ago at the Mandalay. Out of nowhere, that was the first time I actually got introduced to the guy. Young kid. When I seen his name on the players list, I said, that looks like the same, Ryan. And I know some of the Taiwanese players have American names, so I didn't want to.
Was that the guy that was right up here?
Right up here,
oh,
yeah. And anyway, he ended up going to the Texas Open after that event in Vegas. Really solid kid. So he's been back home for the last couple of years, working at his parents' restaurant, he was saying. And this is actually his first event back, and now he's in the final 64. when I seen him, he kind of appeared out of nowhere in the U.S. Open Final 16. Now he's back after a couple of years, and now he's in the Final 64 of the ALFA Las Vegas Open. It's pretty strong.
That gives us somebody to pull for.
Yeah, I like the kid. You know?
Yeah, very nice kid.
And I
good
mean,
English too.
Oh, great English. Yeah, for sure. He's got a tough opponent against Federer. Obviously, everyone knows the success that Federer's had, in these events. But hey, listen, race to 4. A kid who's got, who's free-willing, got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm telling you, if Chris Reinhold put Federer under some heat yesterday, and it was an interesting match. And so Federer, I'm watching it was just the second game of the second set. Federer won the first set. And to watch his patience stalking the table and looking at every possible outcome and every possible angle. I actually got a good little video I'll share later where Federer got on the wrong side of the 9-ball. So the 8-ball's up table, and he's a little crooked on the 9-ball on the side. And, man, he hit the most pure stroke to come around 3 rails and get on that 10-ball there. But he was really taking his time and making sure, because in this race to 4 format, double race to 4, you can't afford to slip up.
No, but, Federer's made of stone. He's able to hold his composure really well, whether it's from deep tournament runs and wins or a lot of experience gambling. Obviously, he can hold his nerve together. People will criticize him because he may look boring at times because he gets so perfect all the time. But like the shot you just said, he's always got that in his back pocket. If he ever needs to let it loose, he will, and he's able to, and he can deliver. And that's the kind of monster that he is. And he's going to be one of the favorites going into it. Next round up, you got Ko Pin-yi against Yoshihiro. I don't know much about this Japanese player. Obviously, Ko is a monster. But again, going back to the format, two dangerous guys who can make the ball, a break that's inconsistent, a rack that's inconsistent. You never know what can happen.
Since the pandemic, we really haven't seen Ko kind of get back to his old form. He'll have flashes of brilliance again, but I think he's kind of due to really get back into the winner's circle.
It's different. I mean, the guy's been a multiple-time world champion in the same year, holding the 9-ball and the 10-ball. So he's held to that elite standard like the Joshes and so on, and rightfully so. But he was just in the final and actually won the Asian Open not too long ago, playing James in the final. Now the break in that was real soft. It was one on the spot with the template, so wing balls were just flying in. But yeah, I mean, you're going to show your class here. Obviously, no matter where you're at, it's not going to get any easier. I'd imagine if he wins, he's going to end up facing Federer, which will be about as box office matchup as you can ask for, Ko Pin-yi versus Federer. But you got to win your first game, out the gate. And now it's single elimination, change of format. After that, you got Roland Garcia against a guy who I don't know, out of Australia. I've never heard of the guy, James Georgitis. I don't know if I'm...
Is that Australia or New Zealand? I found out yesterday their flags, the only difference is their flags, Australia has 2 extra stars on their flags, but otherwise the flags look identical.
Aren't you a geography major?
I am, but I'm not into flags, man. I mean, it's like, I know
tomato,
my flag.
Tomato.
Yeah, I guess
anyway, well, we mean it with all due respect. Roland's going to be a favorite in that, but you never know, man. There's guys who can be the unknown. We just interviewed Sufi, right? Who was an underdog in every match he played through the last 4 or 5 matches. It goes on to get in the final of a world championship. Could there be a Cinderella run like this? I don't know if this is the guy, but there's plenty of them that are unknown, and he certainly has his opportunity. Lucas on the next match against Kwok. We saw Kwok with a great run in the world championship, but Lucas just seems to be firing on all cylinders, man.
Yeah, he seems to be playing well, but again, I think Kwok beat Shane in the World Championship, looked good doing it, and for a while there, he looked like he was a threat to win the entire tournament. So Lucas is going to have to come with it. He's going to have to play really well to win this match.
A couple of other matchups on there, a few more Americans, Evan Lunder against Alan. For me, that's about as even as you can ask for. Alan's a really underrated player, and Evan's been playing a lot of these Pro Billiard Series events, traveling to most of them. You got Justin Martin against Conrad. It's kind of, David and Goliath in a lot of senses, but Justin, just coming back from the Philippines, he seems to be just, exploding with confidence right now. His game has certainly sharpened up after that trip. But, last time I saw Conrad, he was demolishing guys on the Derby Bigfoot. So I'm really excited to see this one. But, if I'm going to pick an upset, it's going to be that following match. You got Jeremy Seaman against Shane Van Boning, and I'm going to call it. I think Jeremy's going to get the win.
Wow.
He's obviously going to be a huge underdog against Shane, but Jeremy's got a lot of experience playing in this format. He breaks 10-ball extremely well. He's one of the few players that has one of these tables at home.
Yes, he does.
I'm calling Jeremy for the win, man.
Yeah, I'm not, but I like Jeremy, and Jeremy stopped by and talked to us a few times so far. I'm going with Shane to win that match. The thing that Shane has to fade in this tournament is, he doesn't love the format. It's written all over his face when he plays. He probably is still getting adjusted to the tables just like everybody else. So in that match against Chang, you kind of saw where there was a moment in that match where it seemed like Shane was like, whatever. I'm going to try, but it wasn't the same intensity that he had like in the World Championship or other event like that. So, I think if Shane's going to need to stay focused, but Jeremy's best shot is jump out strong and jump out fast on Shane. And if he can get Shane disinterested, he's got a good shot.
Well, you're in single elimination. Obviously, Shane's been here plenty of times. With one barrel left. I don't know, man. I mean, look, he's a big underdog. I mean, I don't want to understate it, and I'm not saying he's gonna kill Shane here, but if I'm gonna pick someone to be that upset, I think Jeremy's got it in him. It's if he can fade the name, because from a playability standpoint on these tables in these events, I think Jeremy is as formidable as any player.
Do they have table assignments yet, Mike?
Let's see here. Table 2. So I don't know where that's at.
I think that's one. Interesting thing they did here this year, guys, that you might really enjoy, especially if you come here. They have the main pro arena with the seating and the streaming here. They also have the streaming on every table on Kazoom. But then if you go back into the Amazon room, which is that huge room that has tons of league tables back there, 7-foot tables, which kind of felt disconnected from the rest of the event in previous years, they've actually put another pro arena in there. So they'll call other pro matches, and there'll be bleachers and seating back there. And I think it was a brilliant move on the part of Predator and CSI, because sometimes those amateurs get assigned to that back room, and they don't get as much of a chance to interact with the pros, but now they can right there from the Amazon room.
Well, you're going to get SVB. A lot of people are going to be watching. That room, I'd imagine, is going to be packed. But there's a lot of other matches going on. Kachi against Ralph. Sullivan Clark against Wojciech, who's the World 10-ball champion. Filler against Jeffrey DeLuna, which that's going to be a pretty big matchup as well.
It's interesting. There's 2 battles of lefties there. So it's Filler and DeLuna, right? And then the other one is Justin Martin and Conrad.
I saw Jeff squat his cue ball pretty good, and if he can get a decent rack, if I'm going to pick another one that maybe has a potential, to kind of be an upset, Filler, his liability is his 10-ball break, if anything else, and we also saw him struggle with his transition going back to carbon fiber. So I think
you're grasping at straws here. I mean, if you look at it,
it wasn't as intimidating when we saw him in the World Championships or at Derby City.
Fine, but if you watch that match with DeLuna on the feature table against the 660 amateur yesterday, DeLuna did not look good. He struggled really bad. So he's really going to have to get it.
Was the 660 named Joey Ryan?
Negative.
Oh, okay. Well.
I would have won that match, actually. And Jeff would probably tell you that, because he really played bad. He really struggled in that match.
Well, we'll see. Listen, I mean, it's easy to pick chalk and pick names. I just
sure.
There's always going to be opportunity for guys to steal one, especially in this event above all others. These guys don't get to play. They don't get a tour around the world playing on Predator tables with that rack, with referee racking the balls. So it's all. I think it's more wide open than anything else, and we'll see what happens.
Can I just say, you kind of glossed over it, but Clenti Kachi playing Ralph Souquet. Ralph Souquet, what a timeless guy he is. He's still out there.
Is he your Max Lichtner?
I think he is. Consummate professional. You watch him, and even the matches that he doesn't win and he struggles, if you're a young player and you aspire to be great, watch the way Ralph prepares before the match, watch the way he plays the match, watch the way he handles his emotions during the match. It's
the guy's
a pleasure to watch.
He's cold-blooded. Yeah, if there's anybody for my money I want rolling the ball, it's Ralph. Him being in single elimination with, the field has gotten younger and deeper. I mean, how can you not root for the guy? But, Kachi's a former World 10-ball champion. He's won on these tables before. He's got a massive break. The guy's built like Gronkowski, So I'm I'm serious, man. The guy's just the monster.
And he just wins, right? It doesn't always look pretty, but he grinds it out. He's not going to rush things. He's going to take his time, which is sometimes a little difficult to watch, but you have to respect his firepower. You have to respect his game.
Well, outside of that, we got Albin Ocean against Jan van Leerup, guys who know each other very well from competing in Europe. Albin's Albin, but it's gonna be a little bit closer, I feel like, than people give credit for. Albin's one of these guys as well where, this is not his forte. Albin's more of a 9-ball player, so could he get a little frustrated and disinterested like a Shane? Possibly, but he's going into that match as an overwhelming favorite. You got Chang Jun Lin against Omar Al Shaheen. Is this the time when we see Omar make another run?
Negative. It's going to end right here. Chang is playing great. Chang beat Shane on the feature table yesterday, and Chang just came off winning the Swanee in town.
So you're saying Chang has got momentum from winning a bar table event, is what
Yes,
you're saying to me?
Absolutely. I don't think is that a bar table event?
Is it?
No.
Is the Swanee a bar table event?
No.
No, it's 9-footers?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there goes my argument.
Learn a little something about Paul Molina.
I'm learning about Las Vegas tournaments here, man, on the fly. We got Victor Zelensky against Gerson. I don't know if I've told you my Gerson story before, but it's great.
Well, we'll listen to that in a second. But first, I just want to point out one of the viewers, I forget who it was now, but mentioned the fact that Victor hasn't lost in this event. So if you go back 2 years, he hasn't lost in this event for 2 years so far. Won every match so far and won the event last year. Looked great doing it. Looked almost unbeatable. So yeah.
Well,
tell me your Gerson story.
After Victor wins the event last year, he also goes 2-0 in the World 10 Ball. So.
Did he really?
A couple days later. That's it. That's a fact.
Wow.
That's a fact.
Yeah, but he was laying down so the other Polish player could win.
Okay. Going for his countrymen. Okay. Playing the long game. No, Gerson. So it's a funny story. My buddy Arturo from Mexico, he was here earlier. He's a dealer in Latin America. And anyway, he comes up to me one day, this is a couple years back. He says, "Hey, Mike, I want to bet on my buddy Gerson against Shane. What do you give me?" And I think they were going to like 9. He said, "Mike, can I get 3?" I said, "You got 3. Beat Shane outright." I'm like, okay. Then next he's playing James. And this is when James Aranis was, had a big break.
Yeah.
He was all over Roy's basement, massive favorite. He says, "Mike, I want to bet on my buddy Gerson against James. Can you give me 3 games?" I said, "Sure, you got 3 games." Robs him, beats him outright again. So I'm getting heisted round after round. Next match comes, says, "Mike, he's playing filler. Can I get Gerson again?" I said, "Get the hell out of here. I'm not giving you 3 games anymore. I'll bet you even." I say, "I'll bet you even." 5 minutes later, Gerson's up like 4-1 on Josh. I'm about to jump off the bridge. Josh comes back to win. Luckily, got a little bit of my money back, but that's how I got introduced to Gerson. The guy, we saw him play, go deep. Actually, saw him go deep in the one pocket at the Derby City. Ends up losing to the, Cinderella in Efren. Well, not Cinderella, but the story of the event in Efren.
Gerson, type of guy, you see him walking through here, and you're like, I don't think he can play that much pool. It's so funny how you look at people, and you just can't tell how good a pool player they are by looking at them. It's happened to me a million times. Likewise, you can look at somebody hit 2 balls and say, wow, they must be really good, and they actually suck. But Gerson, man, he's just unassuming, but he can play. The guy can play, and so should be a good match there.
I don't know who to root for. I like both guys, but that's a matchup I really want to see. You got Ko Ping Chun against Misko. Polish players are playing great. I'm gonna go with Misko in that round.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen. Hey, Casto, how are you? David Alcadi against Yukio. Again, David's looking pretty confident, pretty strong. It's hard to bet against him in that spot as well, Joey.
Yeah, I think I'm expecting some big things from David this year. He had that whole issue with being selected over Federer for Mosconi.
You literally bring it up every chance.
Hold on, but then he played well. Let me finish. He played well in the Mosconi, and now I think with Francisco playing so well, it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off of David. It's like people aren't expecting as much from David. They're expecting it from Francisco, and so this is his year, I think, to just play and have fun, and I think he's going to do really well.
Huh. The logic I'm
like that?
The logic I'm having a hard time with. I feel like if anything, there's even more pressure to live up to, what Francisco's doing. I don't think there's any chance of catching him because what he's done is that remarkable and that, of its own.
I kind of look at an analogy like Sky and Shane, right? Like if everybody's expecting Shane to go deep in every single tournament, and Sky was just getting out there and playing. Sky's actually playing really well now, although this event he went 2-0, but he's been in good form lately. And so I think when you're the top dog, everybody's gunning for you. When you're that second guy from whatever country, and I think David is the second guy clearly in Spain, even though there's Jonas and Jose. There's some good players there in Spain. But now he's kind of just below FSR. I think it does take some of the pressure off. That's my logic. I'm going with it.
Anyway, we're gonna keep on. We're gonna keep on cruising along. We got Labutis.
If we always agreed, it wouldn't be a good show.
No, hell no. I love it. Look, there goes my man. I'm picking to upset. Jeremy Seaman walking by with Shane Winters. We got Pius Labutis against a Vietnamese player, Kien. I don't know the guy. Labutis is coming off of a final in the Euro Tour. I think we know who we're gonna pick there. My man Mario He against your man Nick DeLeon. You want to bet on that one? Huh?
I love how you position that.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Nick DeLeon betting approach here. I'm gonna take the massive favorite and ask if you'd like to bet.
Okay, I'll also go with the Nick DeLeon technique.
Don't you sponsor Nick, by the way?
I will take Nick DeLeon plus 8 games. In 2 races to 4.
We're going to move on like we didn't hear that one.
Hey, in reality, if Nick gets his break going, there's every bit of a chance that he can knock off Mario He here. There's nothing that would keep him. He's already beat Thorsten Holman in this event. He beat another top-level player, too. I can't remember who it was right now, but Nick's actually playing really well, and everybody seems to be struggling with the breakout here. We talked about it earlier. They're not breaking head-on. They're breaking from the side. Weird things are happening. Nick's got a chance to win this match.
I think Mario's been one of the most consistent players in any discipline on earth, whether it's straight pull, 10-ball, or 9-ball. I think he breaks in this event really well. He's had a lot of experience playing in the Pro Billiard Series. I think with that belly of his, he can put his body into it and open him up pretty well. Hey, listen, I'm serious, man. He just pops him pretty good. No, man, it's true. And I like Mario.
I'd love to get him in this chair and get his take on your thoughts about how his belly helps propel him to break better.
Hey, listen, we'll find the panda and we'll ask him. I'll ask him on the spot, live.
I dare you.
All right, how about that? You think I'm scared?
You.
No, he's scared. We got Oliver against Hunter Lombardo, another American. Jesus Atencio against Levan Cortez. That's a big matchup, man. Levan against Jesus. Who do you got?
I got Levan in that one. I mean,
of course,
we've talked
a little bit nitty.
Well, we've talked for a couple years about how Jesus needs that signature kind of breakout win. This would be a great match for him to win, but I just don't see it happening. Levan's got all the experience here.
Let me tell you, Jesus Atencio is going to be a world champion. He's got that kind of smooth potting ability and as big of a break.
Here's the thing.
The only thing that is stopping him is his mental game for me. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but that's a big thing. That is like the thing.
Well, but listen, you take steps in your career, man. We've seen it. Listen, you talk about how great FSR is. There were steps with Francisco. There were steps. You get in final 16s. You get in final 8s. You make progressions, right? You have signature wins. Jesus has gotten bigger wins than Levan. Obviously, Levan's a monster. He's probably one of the toughest Filipino players that there is. Even Dennis would agree. It's a little bit of a tall ask, but I think it's closer to even than what you think. I'm going to go with Jesus in that matchup.
Well, I tell you what, in terms of predicting that he's going to win a world championship, I like the kid, nice kid, really good player. That's a big ass right there. Look how long it took Shane Van Boening to win a world championship. And he was knocking on the door for a lot of years. He hasn't come close.
That's the comparison?
Well, he hasn't come close.
Because it took Shane 35 years to win a world championship?
There's a lot of great players that haven't won a world championship. So I'm just saying it's a very hard thing to win.
You're breaking some news today, boys.
Well, it's a very hard thing to win. And so, I mean, I need to see him win a professional event first.
That's fair. Listen, I'm not saying obviously he can't win a world championship right now.
I got you.
He got me on tilt.
Yeah. Dropping your mic.
Obviously, he's not going to win a world championship in this event, right? But look, we saw Victor win this event, and now everyone's talking about him as the next hottest thing, and he is, right? I think Jesus has got that kind of ceiling. I do. I mean that from every single aspect of his game.
4 or 5 years, maybe.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's got some time to put in.
Look, funny story.
Victor's far ahead of him.
The year that Kazakis gets picked over Federer in October, November of that year, right? I was messaging Federer. I said, you know what? Don't even worry about it, man. You're going to be a world champion. 2 months later, the kid wins the world championship. It ain't because of what I said, but I'm good at calling it, and I still got that message saved in my phone, son. As a matter of fact. So anyway, moving on.
That's corny as hell.
That's the truth. That is the truth. Daniel Maciel against John Mora. I'm sure you're going to pick John Moore
Mr.
because
Smooth.
it's what
Mr.
you do.
Smooth. He's in Vegas. He hasn't had to deal with the travel issues. Well, actually, where did he come from? Did he come from another tournament?
I think he lives in Vegas now.
He
as a
does
matter
live
of
in
fact.
Vegas.
Yeah.
It's something about being in your hometown, being able to sleep in your own bed. I think Moore is going to go pretty deep in this event.
You pick Moore a lot.
Do I?
Nothing
I like
about-
Moore.
yeah.
I like Moore as a player. He kind of stiffed me on the podcast. I wanted to have him on, and he was like,
You want me to get him on? I can get him on.
"Yeah, can you line that up for me?
Yeah.
I want to get him on an hour-long pool player podcast so I can learn all
So
about
what?
him."
You can tell him more Super Billiard Expo stories?
Yeah. Hey, you remember? You're Canadian. You remember Jason Klatt? I beat him in the
There
Super
we go.
Big-
I can already hear it now. You got Michael Snyder against Bader Alawadi. Yeah, I mean Michael is the brother of Daniel, but Michael's been making a name for himself. He seems to be doing really well in every event that he goes to, outside of Texas Open, because he was kind of underwhelming in that event. But he just seems to have poise, man. The kid is actually really strong.
I like Butera in this one. We saw him out here.
Of course, you've been taking chalk every single match.
It's not chalk.
Every time.
It's not chalk. But, we saw him play well out here last year. In fact, he beat Shane in a match out here. And, I just like the kid. Good guy.
Could you point him out in the lineup?
Yes, I can. I saw him walk by here the other night.
Oh,
and
you
I
had
was
a
like,
conversation
hey,
with him.
what's
That's
up,
what it was. Okay. Anyway, moving on. We got Cena against Dennis Grabe. I think Cena is actually a woman player from Latin America,
Is that right?
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah, I don't
facing
know much
against
about Cena.
Dennis Grabe. Hey, listen, I want to see Grabe go on tilt. Give me Cena for the win and the upset, just for the fireworks and the stomping of the queue alone, buddy.
And Dennis is playing pretty good. He had a couple good finishes out in Estonia in the last 2 Euro Tours. He's happy with his game. It's like, sometimes you're playing well, but you're not getting top results. But you're kind of knocking on the door. And I think Dennis feels that way about his game right now, at least from the stuff he's been posting online. So I think he's gonna get there.
Well, he went deep in the Estonia event Euro Tour. Obviously, the hometown hero or the country hero there and the favorite. We'll see. We'll see. Alex Pagulayan against Tyler Steyer. Who you got, man? Opie or the Lion?
I am going.
I know you're going with red. You got to
I
go
am.
with red. Red's got to
My
go with
nephew.
red. Yeah.
No, I like Tyler's game, especially 10 ball. I think if anybody has a chance to figure this break out, it's Tyler. He pounds the rack. And right now it's turning into not a finesse break. It's turning into who can pound the rack the hardest. So I'm going with Tyler in this one.
I'm going with what Jason Foster said. I'm going with Alex. I'm going if any event will favor Alex more than anything, it's going to be this one, because the rack is so inconsistent, and because the fact that
clusters and the
Alex
moving
can
and-
outmove you.
Yeah.
Alex is going to break the balls, not with a lot of force. He's going to break them, try to make it in the side, and then play the game of pool from there. He can beat you a lot of different ways. I think Tyler's break was inconsistent. You saw that in his match against Wolford. Give me the Lion for the win. I don't think it's an upset. Even money. Give me Alex.
We had someone recommend earlier when we were talking about the format that if it got to be 2-2 in the last set, because now they're playing
3-3, buddy. If it's 3-3
3-3.
in the last set, yeah.
Okay, if it got to be 3-3 in the last set, it goes to a shootout, and somebody suggested it should go to 1 ball, 1 pocket for that last decider. If that were the case, Alex might be the favorite in the whole tournament.
No, Federer probably would be.
Okay.
1 ball, 1 pocket. Mika Immonen
One and
against Nagaki. Kazakis against...
Guarantee you pick Mika here. You always pick Mika. You always pick Mika.
That
He's
is-
like your
that-
new Max Lecter.
That is not true. I've lost a lot of money betting against Mika. I mean, a lot of money.
Who are you taking in this match?
I'll go with Nagaki. Give me Team Poland. Yeah. Give me
Dinner.
Give me
Bet dinner.
On that matchup of all matchups, you've been taking chalk every match.
What do you mean? You think Mika's
I'm
favorite
calling
in that
Jeremy
match?
Seaman over Shane, and you're like, you want to bet dinner on that one? Easy, De Leon.
No, I did
okay?
not say that. I did not.
You might as well have. All right, you got
What's
Kazak. Let's see, another Polish player, Kurol against Sanjin. Sanjin is the European World 10 Ball champion. I've never heard of this guy from Poland before, with all due respect. I think we know who we're both going to be rooting for there. Wu Kun Lin against Mr. Pro Billiard Series himself, Kang Lee. Who do you got, buddy?
Kang's playing really well,
Kang is playing really well.
but I'm going with Wu Kun Lin.
You're just going against the grain. I'm just shocked.
He won this event 2 years ago.
Actually, that's a good point. That might be the best point you made this whole conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Finally
won
coming
this
with a
event,
stat.
and we didn't really know him that well. We knew
Don't put we in that conversation.
we knew he was Taiwanese, and we watched him play out here, and it just seemed like there wasn't many chinks in the armor there. Wasn't many things you can point to in his game and say, oh, that's a weakness. played really well. I think he went pretty deep in the World Championship this year too. So
he did. And he got an invite to the PLP as a result of that run.
Yeah. So I mean, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this event and the World Championship.
Well, I'm picking upsets, and I'm going to keep on with that same line of thought. Give me Kang Lee for the win, outright or in the shootout.
Love Kang Lee. Great guy.
Listen, I've seen Kang.
There.
I've seen Kang take down a lot bigger names than Woo Kun Lin in the Pro Billiards Series. The guy is just a Chang Jun Lin in Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. Name 2.
Well, okay. let me keep on looking up. No, but listen, Kang will consistently get to the final 16. Again, I may be wrong in this event, but if you look at his record playing the Pro Billiards Series, the guy is one of the most highest rated players, and it's because of his play. He gets there. He is comfortable. Give me Kang Lee for the win.
Look, we know Kang Lee loves 3-cushion, and he's spending almost all of his waking hours over at the 3-cushion table, and he's beating balls around. I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for him in this event, but he's over there just having a blast. Every time I look over there, he's smiling, and when Danny was over there last night doing some incredible shots, he's over there enjoying
now he's
it.
Danny. Now you're on a first name basis. You didn't know who the guy. You didn't know who the guy was 20 minutes ago, and now you're now.
What are you gonna do?
Me and Danny.
Me and Dan went out for dinner.
That's the funniest thing. FSR against Yulong Chang. I'm not gonna bet. I'm not gonna bet against Francisco. I've done that too many times. Just because I think it's hard to have consistency. But that guy is the epitome of it. He is on a different level. I think he's hunting down another world championship in the next week. Give me Francisco for the win, and he does really well in this event. Outside of that, and we saw him win the World 8 Ball on Predator tables as well. So
yeah, Francisco walks down here the first night I'm setting up, and he sees me from over by where the restrooms are, about 40 yards away, and gives me like a look, gives me like a wave, and he's like, "Hold on, I'm coming." And then he gets stopped 4 times in 40 yards getting over here.
Trying to get to you,
to
Joe,
get autographs and stuff like that. And then he comes over here, and we do the, the boom, bro hug, bring the shoulder in kind of thing. And then he's like, "Hey, man."
Did you hold on a little too tight?
Maybe. Maybe. But I said to him, I was like, "Thank you so much for doing the podcast." And he's like, "Hey, I'm really sorry about the technology issues. I'm really sorry about the tech." I'm like, "Don't be sorry, man. That was awesome that you came."
We got a good story.
A
If Francisco does win the World 10 Ball, we'll tell that story. You got Max Lechner against Mark. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah. All right. Max Lechner against Mark. Beasterbosch. You want to bet dinner on that, big boy? Huh, Red?
No, Max.
You want to bet dinner on that one?
As much as I give you crap about picking Max all the time, it's a smart move because Max is a favorite a lot of the time. He's just a solid player. Let me pose this to you. What's the pecking order in Austria these days? Top 3.
Wow.
Order them.
That's a great question, actually. That's a really great question. Boy, what game?
10 ball.
Okay, 10 ball. Give me Mario, number 1.
Max and Albin. I'll finish it for you. 9 ball. You got to switch the order around. That's
nine ball. 9 ball. It's
number 1.
Albin, Mario, Max.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, there's 6.
And Max will probably still be in like the final 16 of a world championship in 9 ball.
There's 6 pockets on the table. It's the same conditions for everybody. But one little adjustment, adding 1 ball to the table, and now you have to reorder the top 3 players in Austria, at least in our opinion.
You're not going to hear any argument from me, but one time you actually make a good point, Red. It only took you 2 years.
You've said that 3 times a day. I've made at least 3 good points.
Who's counting, right? Loho Sum against Alvin. I don't know who. I guess he's from Poland as well. Oh, no, he's not because the flag is turned upside down. Maybe it's Singapore?
Oh. That's an interesting thing. I had to Google it. So that is Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Indonesia is the exact opposite flag of Poland, which Poland has white on the top, red on the bottom. Indonesia, just flip it, has red on the top, white on the bottom. Really interesting. I had to look that up. I was like, where the heck is this? Because it looks exactly like that.
Joey's here all the rest of the week, folks.
Yeah, geography degree in hand.
Jonas Suto against Vitali Batsura.
I'm going to go with Jonas in this one. I like the kid. He looks really laid back. He's over here taking videos of the 3-cushion table. I saw him in here FaceTiming earlier. He just seems to be
Why are you
really
in that man's business when he's FaceTiming with his people, man?
I didn't talk. I just watched him, but he just seems to be real relaxed. He seems to be a nice kid. I'd like to meet him. Hopefully I do this week. But I'm going to take him to win this match. I'm going to take him to maybe win 2 matches from here.
That would mean he'd have to beat the winner of Yap and Petri.
Yeah.
You like him beating potential matchup against Yap?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Look, you're dogging me for going with the favorite every time.
It only took you the end of the list to finally get there, buddy. But I think you're.
I'm going to take Jonas.
I think you're right against Vitali. I'm definitely going to go with Jonas in that matchup. I like the kid's game. I like his confidence. I like his style of play. He's exciting to watch. He beat Skyler with relative ease yesterday. Yeah, give me Jonas all day long. I've still already seen the way that when he first came over to the States playing in the Pro Billiard Series when the spot shot was first introduced to, like, who is this kid? Oh, he's a former world champion. And I was like, a little underwhelmed, if I'm going to be honest with you. But his game has just gotten better and better and better. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the sparring partners, having Delgado, having Francisco, having David. You got champion of champions to play with all the time. It sharpened that kid up. That kid's got the ability to beat a guy like Yap, but he hadn't done it yet. I like Yap in the final one. I like Yap against Jonas. So,
yeah, I mean, Yap, it's a tough ask.
Yap's done really well in the Pro Billiard
Yap
Series.
really has. In this last, I'd say 18 months, he's broken onto the scene. You know, the people in the know knew who Yap was a few years ago, but, man, he's really elevated his game. Had chances to really snap off some big events and did snap off, 2 of these, Mike? 2 of these Pro Billiard Series events, I think?
Yeah.
So this is right up his alley, and if I didn't already pick him to lose in the next round, then I'd say he's got a really good chance to win it. But I'm going to stick by my guns, and I'm going to say that he'll win this match, but he'll lose to Jonas.
Matches start in 2.5 hours. Tune in, World Billiard TV.